Alright, welcome back everybody. Here we go again in the garage with Chaz. A few more parts came in. Started kind of tinkering with a few things there last night. What we got squared away is remove the inner valance and the nose skin. Welded up the areas inside for that part that we made up. And then I did POR paint over it last night so it would be all nicely dried up and sealed up for today. So both ends are done. What I'm going to end up doing now is going to put the inner valance in, fit that into place, get it welded across the back of the frame rails and weld it in nice and solid. Once we finish that, the ends of the rails will actually weld to this surface here. So I'll have to grind the paint off just where it's going to weld on both sides so that we can weld that piece in, let that dry. I'll do a little bit more with POR paint on it so that when the nose skin comes on, all the metal, all the new metal on the inside here is already sealed up and protected for future years. So that's what we're going to work on today, later on today, and we'll get this part done, closed up. I can start trimming up and getting the nose skin on as well, and we'll get that phase finished, and then we're going to move back over here to the V-post because we got the new part, pretty simple part, but that is going to go in here. And we're going to be able to close up and repair all this section, which then will finish in the back corner to the V-post to be finished. They'll finish closing that up as well. So that's the goal of the next two big tasks. We'll see how far we get this week. Let's do it. All right, we got the nose all squared away there yesterday. Gonna do a little bit of work this evening. This is all tacked in place. Have to finish the welds along spot welding, getting all that closed up at some point. But today I want to move back and get the B-posts squared away. So I've taken the pieces out of there, cut this piece out. You can see the brazing that was on it, so that was in here. Trimmed it off a bit short. That's as high as my panel goes right now. I'd like to stay below this lip if I can, just because it's a lot easier for me to access for welding it. Gonna clean up some of the spot in here, do some rust treatment on it. This part back here, up to here, is rusted on this surface, so I'm gonna have to cut a piece of that out from inside the bus and put a new piece in there, which will weld to the back edge of this part when it's in place. So that'll be kind of in there like that, nice and tight. And this part here will come and have a flange over in that direction, which will weld to the back of this piece. So those will overlap, and I'll be able to pinch weld that piece in here. It'll be secured in here, welded onto this, and that's going to give me a nice solid front face of the B-post. I'll have to make some pieces to finish this up and repair that as well up here. But that should close that all in and make the B-post nice and solid. We're going to spray the inside of that with oil. I mentioned that before, but we will be making sure that this is not going to continue rusting. The metal that is there now, with the exception of what I got to cut out in front, is in nice shape, and we will be able to rebuild this. So let's do it. Alright, so we got the outer skin for the B-post put on. Still got some welds to do in these spots here. Gonna plug weld that new piece into there. It's gonna get welded all the way across here. Plug welded down to these. And then I'm gonna go from the inside and I'm gonna do that back angle iron piece so that it replaces the vertical side in here. Put a 90 on it so it comes out into this area on the back side, and then I'm gonna pinch weld that piece to here and weld it back to the B-post, so that'll reconstruct that. I'll continue doing that right down to below the floor. And going to finish building in this piece here. Going to add a piece in the bottom of this and bring it out. We're going to keep rebuilding this post down into this space down here. And that should finish off the B post. Once the piece on the back here goes into this area, from about where the seat is down, that's going to make this incredibly solid and strong again. And we'll clean up all the welds. I'm going to put some, I'll prime it a bit, get it ready so when the dog leg comes, the dog leg will slide right into here. It's going to weld across here, here, and it'll weld all the way along this edge and inside this box area that we were dealing with before. We started repairing and decided not to use it. But it's coming together. I'll keep working on this today. Get this one closed up so that the B post is done. Then we'll be able to hang the rear panel and the side panel, get those put in place and start pinch welding them all the way along the bottom, and we'll do some tack welds across the top. I'll come along later and weld all that up. It'll just be a couple of evenings of just sitting out here on my stool and sliding back and forth, doing spot at a time. But it's all good. We'll keep going. Let's do it. All right, have another look at her here. So the B post outer skin is welded in place. I still have to finish the bead across the top. I just kind of ground off the 2 tacks. That'll still have to be welded. This is all welded in along down here. A couple of spots across here. Took the small finger grinder there and finger sander and cleaned off all of these. So we've got a nice flat surface to work with for when the dog leg comes in. The next piece I'm going to work on is going to make a piece for up in here. Just want to make a patch in there. I need it to come right down to this exact line. So we're going to make that piece. We're going to cut so that it fits in there. It gives me that exact line to tack it in. And that is a reference line that I need. From that point down to here, over in this corner, I need it to go straight in because the dog leg actually futzes against this. And the back part of that pillar goes against this metal over here. So I need to make sure that it has the room to go straight in there. Anything outside of here can go at an angle down to this piece. We'll make out this angle piece. From the back side, we're going to close in the rest of it. Then we're going to finish welding this up. We're going to add a piece of metal that goes across the back into here to close this up. Add the angle iron pieces. Closing this up will be last. We can get the angle iron pieces in there, start building this up, get the angle pieces in, weld that in, close up the bottom. Still a lot of fiddling around to do with this B post, but it is already 100 times stronger than it was when we rolled it in here. We got the right profile for these curves. The inner panel up against it matches this curve nice and clean. It sits nice and clean on the back one. There's still some tweaking to do back there, but it is coming along very well. Let's keep going. Alright, good evening everybody. Welcome back. Just kind of finishing up the week with working on Chaz this week. Got a few things squared away. B-post has come a long way. Still need to get in and finish the backside of the B-post, but I want to get the seat belt off, so I'm just lubricating the bolt back there, hoping that the next day or two I'll be able to actually break that off and I can finish closing up the B-post and close up this area. Earlier this evening, worked in here. Did some work up inside there. Got the top hats finished up here. You can see the black section there. The two pieces, the last two outriggers here needed the top hat finished. And made this piece of floor panel that'll go right from this edge. It'll weld to the inside edge of the rear fender, kind of in this area. It'll weld in there when it's all on from the inside. And it'll weld right down in here. Oops. It'll weld right down in here to that floor piece, and you can see the corrugated section of the floor there laying on top of the angle of it. So I'm going to be able to tack that in place, weld it to the top of the inner rocker here, and that will start closing up that area. The next pieces I'm going to work on are going to be getting the rear fender in place, spotting some close things in, get this side panel in place here so that I can make pieces like this that'll go all the way across here, go in just past the inner rocker, and then it's going to angle down so that the corrugated floor can be able to mate up with that angle, and it'll get welded in all the way across the floor here, and be putting a new flooring piece right from this C-post all the way to the front of the vehicle. So that'll be the next thing that we do. But for now, that's kind of where we're at. So the bus is coming along good. Like I said, the nose is all finished up, as you saw. B-post is very, very close. C-post is really good shape. The rear fender panel and the side panel fit really, really nice. I'll slide those in place here so that you get a look at it as well in a moment. Okay, so that's what the panel's handling there. They're fitting real nice. This will be able to be clamped in place and welded in along the bottom, and we'll be welding in that seam and trimming and spot welding in that seam, very much like what we did on the nose. So that's going to be, geez, any day now really should be able to do that, which will be really a nice step to be moving forward and getting that closed up. Then the pieces that we make that go on the inside there, we'll be able to weld to the inside edge of this side panel. The four pieces like the black one that we saw back here. Okay, let me continue all the way along. That'll weld to the inside. Then the corrugated floor piece will be weld in, and that'll close up this side of the bus, which will be awesome. And we'll keep on trucking. So thanks very much for everybody for watching. Smash the like button for me. Share it on your social medias, and help me get more people to be able to see the content we're putting out. And subscribe if you haven't. Thanks very much. Cheers.